So hello, this is Bill Crombie from the Algebra Project, and this is my summary of the second of 3 webinars we've done. Just to give you the context, in the first webinar, we were looking at this issue of formative assessments, and really in the context of using formative assessments like the math challenges, how you can really help children, help students make sense of the mathematics that they're doing, the mathematics that they're trying to learn. In this second webinar, the focus we had was on what we call non-cognitive skills. And let me actually go to give you the specific framework for this. We were looking, as I said, at the math challenges, and in particular, how they relate to the Common Core mathematical practices. And I think for both the first and the second webinar, we were mostly focused, if I can find it, on the first of the math practices under the Common Core, making sense of problems and persevering in them. And in this case, it's really that issue of perseverance as a non-cognitive skill that we were primarily concerned with. Let me tell you what we mean by non-cognitive skills. We're really talking about any attitude or disposition that the student has that contributes to their effectiveness in doing mathematics. And we spent some time with the participants in the webinar talking about both the non-cognitive skills that they want to develop in their students and the non-cognitive skills that they observe in their students presently. During the webinar itself, I guess the central piece of the webinar, we were concerned around 2 very basic non-cognitive skills. The first being attention, and secondly, persistence. And so let me tell you what we were saying about these 2. With respect to attention, this is a non-cognitive skill that we're particularly interested in the Algebra Project, and have really designed our curriculum and pedagogy in a way which really actively tries to capture the attention, right, of students. So we've done this in 2 specific ways, and actually we also talked about the way that these 2 ways to support attention are operating within the math challenges. So the first, I guess, focus that you might call it, is to actually provide students with shared experience, and usually this is some concrete event that they're really, as young people, right, as children, intrinsically interested in. So one of the things that we noticed, if we can go back to look at the list of math challenges, is that there's been a good deal of work in terms of contextualizing these math challenges at different grade levels in a way which captures the attention, which is intrinsically interesting to children, right, primarily in the elementary school. Most of the challenges are from that kind of first grade through fifth, with a couple in kindergarten, and a couple in middle school, but it's the elementary block that has most of the challenges. So over the past two webinars, we've in particular looked at, I think at the sixth grade level, we looked at some features of the field trip to the zoo and how that was capturing certain concepts around statistics. And during the webinar, I think it was grade 2, voting at the zoo. So there are 2 or 3 of these, well, actually, maybe 4 of these webinars that contextualize in terms of the zoo and animals. The idea being, again, that we're trying to find a context which can capture and hold the attention of students. This other issue around attention is really has to do with bringing the language of students into the classroom. And that is their kind of ordinary discourse, right? And in the algebra project, we call this people talk. And the issue there is really capturing within both the lesson in the classroom, but also the math challenge, the language that students are actually using. It's basically giving their voice, right, a place at the table. So the first really important concept, non-cognitive skill that we were targeting, is this notion of attention. The second, which actually builds upon attention, we spent some time talking about this issue of persistence, and as you saw, that's actually mentioned in the first of the mathematical practices, right, in terms of persistence. I think the important thing we were saying about persistence was that there's a kind of a principle of inertia there, right? That I mean, almost inertia in the physical sense, right? That when something's not moving, it's the inertia of the body is what resists a change in movement. But if it is moving, then inertia is what also resists a change in that state of motion. And at least the analogy that we were building here was with respect to whether we can, with the challenge or with the problem that the students are working on, kind of catch their attention, right, in large part by context, get them talking about it, and that gives them a certain inertia, right, to persist. One of the key points, I think, that's coming out of this is that really this issue of persistence is heavily dependent upon how we capture their attention, and how we really, in that context, use the experiences in their language to maintain that level of attention. So let me kind of tie up the pieces here. For the past 2 seminars, as I said, seminars, as I said, we've been looking at how formative assessments not only tell us things about what students know or what students are learning, but can be used as a tool to support students in how effectively they learn mathematics. So during the first webinar, we talked about how children make sense of the mathematics that they're doing. During this second webinar, we talked about the non-cognitive skills, such as attention and persistence, that support the learning of children around the mathematics. And in 3 weeks or thereabout, we'll talk about communication in this same context and how we can really help children communicate mathematics to the teacher, communicate mathematics to each other, and what's probably equally important, how children communicate mathematics to themselves. So I hope to see you all in early January around the next webinar. Thank you.